Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered Call-In Show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another one of those shows. You know we do these shows, the Unfiltered Call-In Show. I am your host, Devon Morris, and I'm your guide on this journey. We talk about Agile, Scrum, entrepreneurship, anything that's on our minds we'll have a little conversation about. So a little bit so you know, just in case you're new, in for a treat today. The first thing I'll tell you is that if you've been around here before, like and subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're on LinkedIn, just like, thumbs up it. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, like as well, notification bell, all those kind of great things. Let's talk about what we normally do here. We normally go through a process where we talk about a topic, till about 10, 15, 20 minutes after. And then we go ahead and open up the floor for questions that you all may have. And, I've been reading a few Agile articles this week that are fairly new in the news, and I may even talk about some of those tonight. What's happening, what's going on this week? I got a CSPO that's happening, half days. This weekend, I got actually CSM. And I do CSMs maybe literally once a quarter now, because most people just want to take them during the weekday, literally. So we got that weekend edition of CSM, and then next week got half day CSM as well. And then we got some good stuff happening in October, ACSM, another CSM, maybe a CSPO. And then I got some coaching stuff to do. I got all kinds of things going on. So it's been an actual interesting day, because last night I was up super late. Been a super busy day today, so I'm actually feeling real good. I was actually looking forward to tonight, not because there's anything to really, go crazy about. Just looking forward to it. So I'll ask everybody in the room, hey, if I haven't seen you, say hi, right? Haven't seen you, say hi. Haven't seen you in a whole week, say hi. Drop it in the chat, say hi to me. I like to give shout outs at least in this space. The first place I'm going to go is to my brother, who always shows up, who always represents. So I'm good. How are you doing? How has things been going for you? For me, it's been normal greatness, smooth sailing, no real major issues, right? Just, your normal life stuff that happens, right? So I'm actually feeling good. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like I was looking forward to tonight, is what it was boiled down to. As usual, sometimes I write down a couple ideas, but tonight this is going to be something that's more off the cuff than anything else, because, it's a topic that I am fond of. I'm fond of it because, I don't know, I guess I can be. And so I'm over here just moving things around, making sure everybody's good to go, and then just making sure we're lined up. Now, here's the deal. Let's kind of start getting into the top. Well, let me say hi to my people, right? Let's see. Evelyn, I just want to call you Eve. I don't know why. I don't know if Eve is your nickname, but I just want to call you Eve. If Eve is your nickname, let me know so I can just call you Eve, Evelyn. I'd rather use one syllable instead of two. Take me to go ahead and go and start changing people's names. So I appreciate it, Evelyn. Thank you for showing up. Shannon, I know you, Shannon, don't I? I think I do, right? We've crossed paths for sure. So welcome, Shannon. I appreciate it. I got people out in that LinkedIn world. Make sure you say hi. I got people out in the YouTube world. Make sure you say hi. The other thing that I want to do is go ahead and take this and drop the link in both channels, right? About 15, 20 minutes after, we kind of open up the floor so people can ask the questions that they may have. And so I want to drop that in the chat right now so then you can be a part of it. Yeah, PO class sounds really, really where it was at, Shannon. So I appreciate it. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and say hi. How you doing, Marquita? I appreciate you. Been seeing you around since we had an initial exchange. Been seeing you around, so I appreciate it. So welcome. All right, y'all. Our topic tonight is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Why is it near and dear to my heart? Because it's something that sometimes you just don't pay enough attention to. Product backlog refinement is what we call it. As stated in my classes, you may have never been in one of my classes, and if you haven't, that's okay. But we don't call it product backlog grooming anymore because literally over in Europe, grooming is just more offensive. And in spaces in the U.S. is more offensive as well. I learned that a while ago. And so in general, we don't call it product backlog grooming. We call it product backlog refinement for those that are unaware. Grooming is associated with pedophiles is what it boils down to. And as I say in classes, I, from time to time, used to watch Chris Hansen's To Catch a Predator. And you'll hear, him mention grooming, periodically. And so it's one of those things where we just don't use the term within the space anymore. And that's okay. We just don't really want to truly do that. Okay. Now, that being said, if I was to put aside and just move on and call it what it is, product backlog refinement. If I was to provide a definition for product backlog refinement, my definition would be the preparation of the product backlog for the future. That's it. The preparation of the product backlog for some future. Now, there's a lot of details that can go into that preparation of the product backlog. And, you will see that in many cases, the participants that would be involved in product backlog refinement could vary, and it always has varied, regardless of what organization I've been into, it's always varied to some degree. So I want you to understand that as well. There's not been one way of actually doing it. I've been fortunate enough to even have a product owner in my life where we needed no meetings for product backlog refinement. But does that mean that product backlog refinement is not still occurring? Absolutely not. Because it's the preparation of the product backlog. The product owner can be the sole preparer of that product backlog and all the variations that, will happen to its future. Now, when I think about the product backlog, there are two concepts that really come to mind when I think about any refinement whatsoever. It is right level of refinement and the right timing for refinement. Well, for the content that exists within the product backlog. Okay? Now, we can all agree that the product backlog is owned by who? The product owner. There's no secret on that, right? The product owner owns it, content, state of it, everything else. But there's many people that are out here on LinkedIn, on YouTube, that have experienced the need for other people to be involved in it. Some of you have seen product backlog refinement just happen with the developers, happen with the developers and the Scrum Master, happen with the Scrum Master and the product owner and the developers, other parties being involved. You may have seen refinement include things like prioritization, estimation, right? Because those, detailing out items more so you can do things. Some bits of planning I've seen happen in refinement, right? So you see lots of things that can happen within any kind of refinement meeting, but I classically see it in a refinement meeting. And I also see it happen at various intervals, various timings, right? You might see that people utilize product backlog refinement for a couple months and then they fall off. They fall off. They stop doing it, right? You might see people, hammering a little bit heavier into it, right? But at the end of the day, if product backlog refinement is the preparation of the product backlog, and the product owner owns the product backlog, then we understand that moves more closer to their accountability. Again, I said accountability because people can always delegate away responsibility. And that can very well happen. You've seen that. I've seen that. We're all over that. If I'm missing the mark here on what refinement is, you all tell me what I'm missing in the chat. Because these are all things that I see that's a part of product backlog refinement. So what am I missing? What am I missing, Unfiltered crew? What am I missing? Yes, I called all y'all the Unfiltered crew because that's what you are. That's what we are. We the Unfiltered crew. So tell me, what am I missing when I think about refinement? Did I miss something that you classically see? Because it's just the preparation of the product backlog for the future. That's it. Right level, right timing for those items. Okay? Now, things that become a problem, they become signs that you may need some refinement. When you're getting into that sprint, guess what? And you consistently have things that are too big to be delivered. That's the issue with refinement, regardless of who is doing it, it's an issue with refinement, right? You all have been in situations. Look, if you have not been in this situation, let me know. Matter of fact, I'll ask you a question. Can you mention a sign and just drop it in the chat? What's one sign that you've seen that, hey, we need to do some refinement? We need to do some refinement. Type that in the chat for me. Because there may be some things that I don't mention, right? So when I think about it being too big to be completed in a single sprint, we might call that an epic, We may call it an epic. We may call it something different, right? Than an epic, just a big item that needs to be broken down. It's just not small enough to be completed. And that happens, and that's a really excellent time because, again, you have to get it down to the right level, the right size, which is really, really important, okay? Now, another thing that I classically see, period, okay, is that the product backlog items or the items that we're committing to, they don't have the appropriate level of detail within it. I'm not talking about the size of it. This is not a size situation. I'm really talking about the information is not there. This is missing something, right? Now, as I look in the chat, I saw something come up. Now, look, I'm gonna say this: Catalyst Marketing Group CM. I don't know what your regular name is, but welcome, Catalyst Market Group CM, right? Too many questions being asked about one story is an excellent sign of that. Of that. Because it doesn't have the right level of detail that we would want to see. So, and since we don't see that, we have more and more and more and more questions. Does that make sense? So really, really, really important. And I see that he's taking off his mask. His name is Steve. How you doing, Steve? I don't know how I'm supposed to get Steve at the Catalyst Marketing Group, CM. I only see one S. Maybe I would know Steve from the ST and Catalyst, Steve. How am I supposed to know who you are, Steve? But the word catalyst is actually pretty dope. I actually like it. So welcome, Steve. Welcome. But another problem that it causes, which Gabrielle points out really, really well. Look, lack of clarity. When you don't have that right level of appropriateness, it can be a lack of clarity. Also, you might get a lack of clarity because the understanding that's related to the story is not clear enough. This just causes confusion. So another issue that you may run into, right? And so realistically, you start piling these things up and you say to yourself, what's really happening? What's really going on? Okay? I see Miss Eve right here mention that split stories coming up each sprint. I get it. Yeah. Again, as we said earlier, you are breaking things down because they're not small enough, right? And that definitely takes some practice. That takes some working together with the product owner and the people that deliver. So all these things are extremely important when it comes down to you and your product backlog refinement. There was somebody else. Let's see. Marquita said, I had this conversation with a colleague today about delegating away key responsibilities that can create a flaw. And definitely, the issue is when you start delegating away those, something that's accountable for them, but they delegate away the responsibility, you lose something. I don't know exactly what you call it, but you lose something, right? Probably a little bit of domain knowledge, right? Probably a little bit of understanding what the customer needs. Probably a little bit of the ability to be able to make a decision. So you start to see all these little flaws just start to crop up in different kind of ways, right? Another thing that really happens that's really, really simple is you start seeing different people have different ideas on what the definition of ready looks like. That's another one of those things that you'll see. Oh, I see Chuck said this, right? Is the story actually ready to be worked on? Definition of ready. But what I'm saying here, Chuck, let's take it another step beyond that. A lot of times, most of us don't even have a definition of ready. So you got these multiple team members that have different ideas on what the definition of ready is, and that goes back to, hey, we don't have a point that we can take refinement to. You have one story that's this level of readiness and another story that's a different level of readiness. So you just run into this again and again and again and again. So it becomes something to really, really, really think about, right? And rightfully so. I would agree with you, Steve. Working agreement with a DOR would be nice. For those that don't understand, a DOR is a definition of ready. A DOR is a definition of ready. What's the definition of ready, people? I'm not going to say what it is. Somebody type in the chat what a definition of ready is. Y'all great Scrum Masters out here, been doing this for a while. What's a definition of ready? We don't see it all the time. So what is a definition of ready? We should know that. We should be paired. If we want to make sure that we have a product backlog that's working, we definitely should have an understanding what a definition of ready is, right? So what is it? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what a definition of ready is. That's what I'm going to say. But I appreciate what you're saying, Steve. I really, really do. That DOR is important. You can add that kind of information to your working agreements. Team agreements, whatever you want to call them, right? So really, really majorly important, okay? Now, if you really think about what we're saying here, a lot of what we're saying simply is all the reasons why your refinement is probably not working very well. These are just reasons why your product backlog refinement is not working well. And I'm going to say to you, good definition of ready will help you. Nobody said what a definition of ready is in the chat, so I'm not going to mention what I think it is, right? So nobody said it, okay? But I'm just going to let the chat bubble up and see if we find out what a definition of ready is. But a good definition of ready actually would help to put some boundaries around your refinement activities. Again, note that I'm not doing this. Note I'm not saying product owner only or this only or that only. I'm not saying any of that. I understand that people collaborate. The collective can do a much better job. I understand all that. Okay? Now, I'm going to say this because you just got me worried. Okay? Gabriel said the definition of ready is the opposite of the definition of done. Man, I don't know what that means, Gabriel. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means. I don't understand that. I see the LOL, but I'm not laughing at that. I'm just not laughing at it. Anyway, you good with me. I see Patrick says, hey, stories must be immediately actionable. I like it, right? I like it. That definitely is something that I would add into that, right? Let's see. Jamila, how you doing, Jamila? Ready to go into the product backlog. Ready to go into the product Product backlog, sprint backlog. What backlog are you talking about, Jamila? I have no clue what backlog you talking about. You talking about the product backlog or sprint backlog? I don't know, Jamila. I don't know. And you trained in my class, so you should know better. Anyway, I'm gonna stop that. Okay. When the story has met the criteria to be included in the sprint, yeah, I would say it's an agreed upon set of criteria to say that a product backlog item is ready to go into a sprint. So when I see Patrick says the story is immediately actionable, when I see ready to go in the backlog, even I don't know which backlog, when I see when the story criteria is ready to be included in the sprint, getting the user story ready for the sprint. Let's see, acceptance criteria. No, it's not exactly. Acceptance criteria definitely defined. All details included, points included and assigned. You can include that kind of stuff in your definition of ready. You absolutely can, right? And so for different organizations, it would mean different things. Jamila hollers and screams at me, you should have put it in all caps, is what you should have did, Jamila. That's what you should have did, but you didn't do that. Anyway, no. But again, sprint backlog is what we want to be ready to be able to pull it into. So that's really, really amazing. Jennifer says the user story is enough to begin, right? Okay, has enough? Yeah. Must have HDA. I don't know exactly what an HDA is. Why do y'all use all these acronyms, man? Like we know all these acronyms. Sometimes we don't. Okay? DOR is used to determine whether the work on a task is ready to be started. I agree with that. Before the team assigns a task into the sprint, I can agree with all that, right? Eve kind of goes in and says, ready to be worked on by developers. I agree with that. Patrick goes in and say, must be clear enough for the team to start working on. All these are wonderful and great statements. And I'm going to say to you all clearly, I really, really agree with all of them. Okay, I really agree on all of them. But you see a theme here. There's some criteria that's agreed upon, ready for some future commitment. That's what we're talking about here when we talk about a definition of ready. But again, it's agreed upon. It is agreed upon. There's no different teams will have different definitions of ready, even in the same organization. So there's no one size fits all situation. So what I would say to you fundamentally is this, people. Backlog refinement not working for you. You probably need a definition of ready. According to Jeff Sutherland, a definition of ready is going to double your speed. According to Jeff Sutherland, right? I find evidence of that. The problem is I don't find proof. I find evidence. I don't find proof. Hopefully you all understand the difference between evidence and proof in terms of what I'm presenting to you. When I say evidence, it's observable. When I say proof, it's been demonstrated. It's demonstratable, right? Hopefully repeatable demonstration of it. Okay? So very, very, very important. All really, really good answers. Really, really amazing answers. Okay? So that's good. So get your definition of ready right. Do the work that it takes to do the refinement activity. Whether you throw it in a meeting, product owner does it all. I don't care what your extreme is. Do what best works for you. Now, that being said, we already have some people in the queue. Let me let you know how this thing operates, how it goes. What we do is we answer questions from the chat. We answer questions from people that actually phone in. So if you call in, I'm going to, in a second, start bringing some people in. And then we can have a conversation and we can answer their questions. They can provide comments, or maybe they just want to provide some general insight. But if you want to provide any of that information, please drop it in the chat for me. Please drop it in the chat for me. If you want to talk personally, hey, I got to give you the link again. Let me grab that link and let me drop that link. Here's the link on YouTube. I'm dropping it one more time. And here's the link on LinkedIn. You know, you can join me from either place. That's going to be about it. Okay? Some point, I'm going to have to get all you people on LinkedIn to come on over to YouTube. And then we are operating in one place. A little less for me to manage at that point. So, that being said, I'm feeling good. I have people that's here. Just know, if you're in the green room right now, get prepared to get on the show. right? Get prepared to get on the show. That's all I'm really saying. So let me go ahead and start queuing us up, start getting us kind of moving in the right direction here. Let's see. Let me go ahead and grab one of these. I don't want to grab that one. Let me grab that one there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go with our first person that's phoning in. And let's see. Hey, Jay, you're on mute. How you doing, Jay? How's it going, Jay? Unmute yourself if you're available. Guest has muted themselves. Okay, I don't see anything related to your video, or I don't hear any information from you, Jay. Sometimes people just phone in because they think that's the way to really operate within the show. And you don't have to do that. You really don't have to do that. So, Jay, I am going to return you back to the green room. And I'm going to move on to our next caller here, Eric. Let's see. Let me go ahead and make sure that I All right, so Eric, let's see if Eric's here. Okay, Eric, how you doing? I just took you out of the green room. I have you actually on the show. If you're here to be on the show, then talk to me. If not, then I'm going to go ahead and start looking toward questions that people may have. So please drop your questions in the chat if you have any questions in reference to Scrum, Agile, entrepreneurship, anything like that. So I'm going to ask one more time. Hey, Eric, how you doing? I don't see video. I don't hear the any vocals. So I am going to assume that Eric and Jay are not trying to be in a show today. And maybe they just decided to click on the link because I thought that was going to be how to get here. So Jay, I'm going to go ahead and hang up on you out of the green room, and I'm going to do the same thing with you, Eric. So just know that, because it's just one of those things. I told myself I wanted to talk to you all about an article that I read, and I'm going to grab this article real quick. And you all, I want to know if you all think this is really, really true. It happened a few days ago on September 30th, and it was in CIO magazine. It's the seven telltale signs. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually come on over here, and I'm going to test something out, y'all, to see if this works for us, right? I'm going to test something out. You all let me know if this thing is working, right? So let me just take this piece by piece real quick. So just bear with me, because I want to talk to you all about that and see if you kind of, what you agree with and what you don't agree with is really my bigger question, right? So let me grab this. 7 tales of this a fake Agile. Let me make this bigger, and it's gonna make a little transition here. So just give me just a minute to slap it on. You may see my main screen, and that's okay. Let me go ahead and get you all to the actual, let's see, other screen. Current application. That's not what I want. I'm on my secondary display. There you go. If you take a look at this, there's an article that was out there in, 7 telltale signs of fake Agile, right? Love for you to read this article, but I'm going to come back to it because I have someone that just came in the chat. I'll come back to that article. Let's came into the green room, I should say. And this is, let me go ahead and go with my guest here. And let's see. I'm going to go with that one. And let's go ahead and add you to the show. Steve, how you doing? Can you hear me, Steve?
I'm good, sir. How are you? Yes, I can.
I'm good, man. How you been, man?
Oh, man, long time no talk to, man. Good, though.
Very
Good,
true,
good.
man. Very, very true. So tell me what's going on, brother.
Okay, so I had an epiphany, if you will,
Okay.
and spun up a team of marketing personnel
Mm-hmm.
with the Scrum, insight. So we're using Jira, we're using kind of the Backlog Refinement, Scrum Master, etc.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the people that are on that team are very green to Scrum,
Okay.
and what I'm finding is just that it's really having that understanding of what these different definitions are, how to accommodate how they feel about doing Scrum,
Okay.
and then fitting that into less of the development, but more of creation of products and deliverables.
Okay.
And I guess the thought is this. I mean, have you ever seen Scrum with marketing?
Yes, I have, man.
Okay.
Um, let me read something to you. Um, it is called the Agile Marketing Manifesto.
Mm,
You ever seen
okay.
that?
I have not.
Come on now, come on,
I
man,
have not. No,
come on, man.
I'm open to it, man. I'm
Okay,
open.
let me see something. Let me see something. Let me see if I can operate this. If I can do this, man, this would be pretty dope. So hold on, just let me try this real quick, brother. So this is gonna be an interesting thing, and I'm just doing something on the fly here, right? Because I love for everybody to see what's happening, right? So let me throw in uh
This is good.
something right here. Let me get this. Where are you at? Countdown, da da da. Widget. Yeah, let me try this. Nah, that's not what I want to try. I actually want to show you this, and if I could show you this, it would be super amazing because that would actually give you a good idea of what's happening. But let me see. It don't look like it's gonna let me do it, but it's probably because I'm all green. New screen overlay. Let me just do this for you, man. So let me go ahead and pull this in real quick. I got to change a couple things on it, and then just watch this. You're gonna be upset at me, or you're gonna be upset at you. You're gonna be upset at somebody. You're gonna be upset at somebody, but you're gonna be upset at somebody is the way I'm gonna put it. Let me
All
get
right.
that right there going. And then what I want to do is I want to change this format one more time, probably into a nice square. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if you can see this, right? But this right here is the Agile Marketing Manifesto. And it literally is at agilemarketingmanifesto.org. And years ago, many years ago, a bunch of marketing professionals came together and they came up with their version of a manifesto. They came up with their version of a manifesto. So if you look like the classic manifesto, you see this over that. So let's take a look at this together real quick, Steve. Focusing on customer value and business outcomes over activities and outputs. Do you think that for the team that you're working with, that would help to give them a value that would help them understand this process a little bit better? Because what you have to remember, Steve, is Scrum is amazing, but Scrum lives and breathes the values and principles of the Agile Manifesto. But
Yeah.
what you have to understand is your people are used to a different world. They're used to the world of marketing. So now let's just say to ourselves something really, really very simple. What if we go ahead and say, for your people specifically, they're doing Scrum, but they need to live and breathe the values and principles of the Agile Marketing Manifesto. And so
Okay.
now when I say to you, focusing on customer value and business outcomes over activities and outputs, I guarantee you your teams are used to activities and outputs. Am I correct?
I think I can kind of vouch for that. Yeah. Yeah.
So
To some
now it
degree, yeah.
becomes it becomes your because think about it. With Scrum, what is Scrum, Steve? All Scrum is a time box plan. We evaluate on a daily basis. We learn about the product, learn about the process, and do it again. So now what you need them to do is do that Scrum thing and think to themselves, let's focus on customer value over customer value and business outcomes over activities and output. You see where I'm going with that? Do you see how I'm thinking about it? Do you see what I'm doing with it?
Yeah. I think I'm so. So let me make sure I'm catching you.
Yeah.
So instead of me going and saying, all right, and I kind of walked you through my process. What we did was I took the person from the top, the organization that we deal with, right? I said, give me your roadmap. What are these things that you prioritize in the next 3 months, the next 6 months? Where are you trying to take this business overall?
Mm-hmm.
Based off of that, we kind of work backwards. So they said, these are the things that are our top priority for us. And from there, I had the product owner kind of say, okay, in order to achieve those, these are the items that need to be completed. Now, am I taking that too literal in a sense and saying, okay, these are activities versus the value? I'm not sure.
Well, the question is, what are you really focused on? You're really trying to focus on getting customer value and business outcomes when it comes to marketing.
Sure.
So now you need to start speaking some of their language so they can actually be able to perform this process better for you. You got to remember that the way this thing has been classically fed to everybody is as a software development process,
Right.
as being just a part of IT. Many people are foreign to that and they need it in their language. So now if you think about some of these other things, deliver value early and often versus waiting for perfection. You're probably very used to in marketing them waiting for perfection, them waiting to try to get it perfectly right. You look at more of this, learning through experiments and data over opinions and conventions. We're always running experiments, right?
Right.
Cross-functional collaboration over silos and hierarchies. You've experienced silos and hierarchies. They don't classically work in our world. Responding to change over following a static plan. So now what you got to say to yourself, you have to get them to start learning how to live and breathe these values right here as you're doing things like getting your product backlog ready to go into a sprint backlog, as you are making commitments to various things over time, as they're deciding these are the most important things to do. Because guess what? Your language should start. All your agility starts with the product owner, right?
Right.
So now imagine that you can get your product owner to breathe this, live and breathe this. Now that's going to change how he or she thinks about the product backlog. The types of things that they think that they should prioritize toward the top versus the bottom. So you move it beyond us just getting work done towards getting the most valuable marketing work done that we need to get done in order to justify and be successful.
That's fair.
So now I'm asking you to do me a favor.
Okay.
Start by changing your mindset. Because really, is it about them getting Scrum perfect?
Nah.
You know that already. There's no question on that, right?
For sure.
Really, what are you trying to achieve as your outcome? That's the real question.
Quality output, man. I mean, at the end of
Quality
the day,
output is expected, right? That's like
right?
saying I got a daughter who likes boys, and I expect that when she becomes a woman and that she like men, I expect them to have a job. I expect quality output, man. Do you understand? I expect quality output. It's a no-brainer. It's basically expected. If they're not doing quality output, that's a different problem. But
Sure.
they can have a bunch of quality on all the wrong stuff, man. So realistically, you know, if you're going to mess up and not deliver quality product, you might as well deliver quality product that's valuable. You might as well deliver product that's not quality, that's valuable to them.
Sure. Sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Versus things
absolutely.
that aren't valuable and they're perfect. They don't even want to use it. So now it starts with you, is the point I'm making. And I need you to start thinking and incorporating some of this stuff into what you do. Because you have to position yourself to start helping to shift their minds. But you got to shift yours too. Because here's the deal. Let's think about something really, really simple and plain. A lot of marketing is about data, right?
Yeah, for
Data
sure.
to help make the right decision, right?
Correct.
Well, how do you know how to make the right decision? Little small experiments is what you do, right?
Right. The A/B testing. Yeah.
The A/B testing would be an example, right? Of
Right.
a small experiment that we can utilize to get some data so we can make the right decisions. So these are the kind of things that we do that lead toward us falling out of people's opinions and conventions that's been around for decades that don't work for us anymore.
Right.
So, but who's in charge? Whose job is it to help shift their mindsets?
That's my.
Because here's the deal, man. I'm not looking for you just to be a servant leader. I'm also looking for you to be an adaptive leader.
That makes sense.
I'm also looking for you to be an adaptive leader. You understand? And being an adaptive leader is going to be extremely important to them. It's going to be extremely important to them.
It's fascinating. Huh. I never. I mean, I kind of understood, and because one of the businesses that they're working on is mine.
Yeah.
It, it. I know what's important to me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so in that mindset, yes. However, I think the ultimate goal is to have a team that can grab that insight from any organization, not just myself, from any company, and try to identify those value pieces, and then uh, get that backlog
Mm-hmm.
to the point where it's executable on those items, and at the end of a sprint or two, they have something that is
But Steve, come on now, understand my statement. It's not
right.
good enough just for them to be executable.
Okay.
You should be having executable value.
Okay. So help me frame that. Help me frame that. What is
80-20 rule, remember that?
yeah, Pareto, right?
You want to find a way to get the most valuable stuff that is going to drive those outcomes, that is going to drive customer value.
Okay.
You want that toward the top of your product backlog. Don't forget, we're still doing the same Scrum stuff that we're supposed to be doing. The
Right.
definition of Scrum includes generate value. So we want to make sure that we continue to generate value, brother.
Mm.
You can't lose sight of that, because here's what you're trying to do. You're just basically saying, you know what, I don't really care what you deliver. Just get to the end of sprint and deliver everything that you said you was going to deliver. Even if the customer hates it, it doesn't matter, because we have achieved our goal. That's no different than me saying, hey, our project was on time, on budget, but the customers
But
don't
it's
want to
just
use it.
yeah, what they hated. Yeah.
And you would say that about a
Got it.
project manager in a heartbeat.
You're right.
You would say that about a project manager in a heartbeat. And now I'm saying it about you. Stop it. Because you're using our language, our world, our tools to espouse those same things that we fight against. Let's just deliver whatever. It's okay. You doing Scrum, that's great. It's just good enough for you to be doing Scrum. Man, don't nobody care about Scrum. Don't nobody care about Scrum. They care about what Scrum can do for them. Think about it, man. Back when you got your certification, right? You cared about
Right.
what Scrum was going to do for you.
True.
That's it. Not Scrum for Scrum's sake.
Right. No, that makes sense. So I mean, I guess my takeaway is this: if I were to time box this in 30, 60, and 90 days,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
in 30 days, I mean, and at the end of the day, it's all about profitability.
Right.
What's going to bring the most profit for the what are the quick wins?
Mm-hmm.
What are those things that even put into place, and even considering systemization with some of that, and that's just kind of my right. What are those things that in 30 days I can execute that will generate revenue? 60 days that will increase that or tweak, and provide systemization, and maybe 90 days to be able to step out of that altogether and have a complete automated system.
Okay, I like it. But
Okay.
I'm gonna add another layer on top of that.
Okay.
What's your vision? What's your roadmap to meet that vision? Because you also have to align. I'm making an assumption, it's a crazy assumption, that you have executives that are interested in this too. And this has to align with whatever goals the organization has ultimately as well, right? So it behooves you to make sure your vision lines up and your roadmap lines up with wherever the organization is going. That's going to help you to, every time you deliver value, if it's lined up, you're delivering value all the way through the through line.
Yeah.
All the way through. That's what you want, right?
Got it.
It's not just about, hey, what can I deliver value in 30 days? Well, let's just say you do deliver something of value in 30 days. But if you had a roadmap and a vision that connected with the rest of the organization, you could have found something that was 10 times more valuable.
Mm. So top down strategy, and then identifying those value components, and kind of prioritizing those as things to get done immediately.
Yeah.
Makes
And
sense.
on top of that, man, one last thing.
Sure.
If you're going to be an adaptive leader, you need to be a systems thinker.
All day.
Think holistically. And that's all I'm really asking you to do in this is think holistically. So you got the underpinnings of everything you need to make it happen. You just got to go back to those basics, get back on your square, man, and do what you know to do is right. It doesn't matter that it's marketing. You're doing the same flipping thing. They just got a few different words to describe the type of value that they deliver.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, if I'm in a group and I'm working with a bunch of educators, I'm gonna utilize a Agile Manifesto that's associated with education.
Sure.
I don't want to use the regular Agile Manifesto because it's foreign to them. It's different. It doesn't utilize their language. You understand? So you want to be able to utilize their language, and this manifesto does that. But you need to find a way to ingrain that in them and ingrain that in you. Still using our same values and principles to move forward. Still being able to use Scrum to do what you need to do. So really, really, I know this wasn't the answer you were expecting, man. Am I crazy?
Oh, no. You know what? I mean, the reality is I'm open for input because as the creator
Mm-hmm.
and the one of the beneficiaries of the team.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to be respectful. I have another organization that I'm dealing with,
Okay.
and it does come down to value, right? That was a conversation like, hey, how quickly can we get some of this stuff out? And one of the things, and what you said was absolutely on is this is what I'm trying to do in the next 3 months. Not me, but this other organization. This is what I'm trying to do in the next 3 months. And it's critical. These are the things that will escalate. Now, for me, it's not as it's not as complex simply because it's me, right? I can say, well, if we don't,
Yeah.
but that's not right. So so I do have to take that step back and appreciate, regardless of the organization that gets plugged into it,
Mm-hmm.
these are the top priorities. This is the roadmap that they've provided, and based off of that, these are the items that we're going to, kind of push on
Mm-hmm.
to be able to provide them value in the shortest amount of time possible.
Yep. That
I get it.
sounds like a great plan because that reconnects you with them. And here's the deal. Let's just say you did Scrum perfectly, but you didn't follow your roadmap.
Yeah.
Like literally, I'd be like, I understand that you did it perfectly. I understand that you knew how to walk that straight line on the ground perfectly, but it was the wrong line that you walked. What value does that do me? Nothing. Like,
I
I
get it.
understand that you cut my son's hair over here, but it's the other one who I brought here to get his hair cut.
Right.
You understand? You did an amazing
Yeah.
job on my
Yeah.
son's hair.
Yeah. It's just the
But since
wrong
I
way,
brought,
yeah.
but since I brought the other son, and I was gonna pay you for the other son, now I paid you for this son.
Right.
So now what we gonna do with what I really want now, man?
Right.
You understand?
Fair enough.
It just,
I do.
it's just a different problem, man. And sometimes, Steve, it's just that we have to stop losing sight of the fact that we're here to not just do Scrum. We're here to deliver valuable change.
Sure.
Not just because we did it using Scrum. That's not it. We want valuable change regardless of how we deliver. And so we should never lose sight of that value. And that's the reason why the topic of product owner and backlog refinement is so important tonight, because we tend to lose sight of that value. And that right there is always concerning for me, because I can't name you the number of times, Steven, that I lost sight of value. And I'm going to be truthful, man. I didn't really think that product owners were valuable. I started Scrum in like 2005. I didn't think product owners were valuable until like 2012, man. So I spent like 7 years just like, look, man, if it can breathe and if it can use the user story format, then they're the product owner.
Mm.
You know, it's just, we just lose sight of digging deep into this thing called Scrum when it's not about Scrum. All they really want is they want some way to get that value done. And if Scrum is the way to do it, hell, we'll do a lot of Scrum if we can get value done. But if Scrum is great and it's not delivering value, what's the point?
That's a fair statement.
So you have to make that, it's your job to make that work, Steve. It's your job to make that work. And I know you can make it work because what I'm saying to you, nothing that I've said to you right now is foreign to you.
Very true.
Nothing. Just sometimes we lose our way a little bit because we are reading the Scrum guide and we doing what they say us to do. They say, just go do Scrum and get it done. There's things that feed into the pipe.
Right.
You know,
that's a good adjustment for my own mentality. So that's it's good timing. So I appreciate that.
no, it's no problem. And now flavor that with the Agile Marketing Manifesto. But don't forget value first.
That link is the Agile. I can't quite see it there.
Agile Marketing. It's agilemarketingmanifesto.org. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. That's what I'll do. I'll drop it in the chat, and then everybody can have access to it, man. That's the first time I've been able to bring that up, man. I appreciate you for that one, man.
Hey, man, you know, I appreciate you.
I'll be finding these things, man, over the years, and then I just never get a shot to use it. And you just gave me, you said marketing. I went, oh, wait a minute now. This may be an opportunity.
Right on.
So, anything else? Any other questions? Any other thoughts, my friend?
I think the only thing that comes to mind is really, you know, the productivity of the product owner. Now, you just said that there is some challenges that you've run into. Yeah. I would say, how aligned, you know, let me take this back. You know, what should the organization provide to a product owner for them to be efficient and effective? And when I say organization, I don't mean the group itself. I mean external.
Here's what I would say to you. I could say a million things, but forget those million things. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go work with your product owner and have a few things happen, but I need you to really observe your product owner closely. So go work with your product owner to refine the product backlog. Only you and them, and that's it. That's going to let you know if they have the ability to do a ton of things. So, for example, we understand that when an epic, a big story exists, a big requirement exists, we probably need to break that down. Does your product owner have the domain knowledge to break that down?
I got it.
Does that make sense?
It does.
And then I want you to do something else. I want you to teach them the various ways that it can be broken down. Because here's the deal. You will also notice another thing. Does this product owner, when they look at this requirement right here, do they understand the essence of value that they're looking to achieve if this thing gets done? Does your product owner know that? If they don't, you got something else to ask for. Mm-hmm. So really go with them and hold their hand to see what they really know and what they don't know. And then understand the gap, understand their willingness to learn. If you can teach them some things, great. If you can't, these are the things that you escalate because these are going to be the things that are most valuable. Does that make sense?
It does. I'm whiteboarding right now, man. So yeah, it makes sense.
Because the reason why I just don't want to throw generic things at you is because I need you to run these experiments so you can figure out specifically what this product owner needs.
Mm-hmm.
Not just generically say, well, this is, because that ain't going to work.
Right.
Run the experiment to see what they need. To be honest with you, Steve, a lot of times when I walk into an organization, the first group of people that I know, as soon as I learn who they are, I grab my product owners and start sitting down and having conversations with them because I'm trying to see what they know.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what they got the ability to do. And then where I can fill gaps, I'll fill gaps. But then there's other things like they don't have enough time. They was never trained as a product owner. They don't really know what their role is. They don't know how to really do real product backlog management with or without me. They don't know how to facilitate an event. These are all things that pull back on a product owner. But you can learn that through you working with them.
I got it.
And if you do that, that's going to let you know a plethora of stuff. And that's what you want to utilize as your guideline for this. If that makes sense, right?
It does. No, I get it. I get it.
And you'll find out way more stuff in that. And this is where you become super observant and you can also be super helpful. This is where you can really be super helpful. And this is where I would say for anybody who hasn't come to the Certified Scrum Product Owner class, when you get into this kind of situation, now it's time for you to come to the Certified Scrum Product Owner class. This is when it's time. Because now you're going to be actively doing stuff. Does that make sense? And then, then I could talk to you about, the various MVP. Well, when I say MVPs, I mean MVP testing that you could do. I could talk to you about, testing out your assumptions. I could talk to you about all those kind of things. But the most basic thing that you have to get right now is a better product backlog. That's it. That's the most basic thing. Now, in my classes, I normally have a splitting strategies guide. Do you have that splitting strategies guide?
No.
Okay. Let me see something, brother. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna grab a splitting strategies guide. One that I created years ago. I still use it whenever I go on the ground inside of an organization. I actually utilize the splitting strategies guide and I give it to people. I literally just give it to people. And then they have access to it. I had it free on the website at one point, but I'm going here and I'm going to my resources and I'm going to create a quick little link. And then the quick little link should get you exactly what you need. Let's see. Copy the link. Okay, y'all, I'm going to drop this chat. I'm going to drop this in the chat. Everybody's welcome to steal it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem with that. You're welcome to grab it. You're welcome to steal it. I'm good with that. Let's drop it here on YouTube. Okay. So now that's in the space right there. So do me a favor, Steve. Can you click on that link and let me know if it takes you to a folder?
Yeah. Hopefully it don't take me out.
Well, it may have took him out. Steve, look like you're gone, man. Yeah, you're probably gone. It's all good. There you go. There you go. You're back.
Yeah.
All right.
Nah,
Did you get it?
I didn't. I clicked off and then disappeared, so I popped back on. But
good. But that's okay. Yeah. You got it. And my email address, just send me an email if you don't have it to team@beardedeagle.com and I'll get you the link, right? So
okay.
team@beardedeagle.com. I'll get you the link for that. And that will be helpful for you because that gives you, I think it's 11 different strategies on splitting. And on our website, beardedeagle.com, I explain those things. You just got to look up splitting strategies. I think I did either a 3 or 6 part series on it at one point. With some examples and everything else. But that's on Bearded Eagle's website, so you can go to beardedeagle.com and just search splitting strategies and you'll find that kind of stuff. Yeah. No, this is excellent, man. So, anything else, my brother?
Nah, I'm gonna get off there. I'm gonna get off the queue, man. I'm gonna let somebody else talk if they're gonna talk.
Hey,
man, so.
I think we done for the night. You the last
we
one.
It. I killed
yeah, we done killed it, man. We done killed it. But hopefully you got what you need, right?
I did. Nah, this is beneficial.
Here's what I need you to do for me. After you try some of this stuff, man, come back and talk to me.
For sure.
Because what I want people to do is I want to hear what you tried, what worked, what didn't work, so and then they can know what to try in the future. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Brother, I appreciate you, man.
Hey, no, I appreciate you.
Hey.
Now we ran through the bearded eagle. That was my initial exposure, man. So yeah, for sure.
And I can't grow a beard to save my life.
That's all good, man. It's all
It's
good.
all good. All right, brother. I'll catch up with you,
All right.
okay?
Take care, man.
All right,
Yes,
take
sir.
care.
All right,
All right, everybody. That was, that. This is how the show goes. I mean, we go places where you all need to go, and wherever that place is where we go. And this is what I love about the show. This is what I love giving to the show. This is what I love being involved in the show. Here's the deal. If you enjoyed that, I need you to like, subscribe, do the little bell button thing, all that kind of stuff. Do that. Send this to other people so they can come join us on this show as well, so they can get some of this value, because we make these videos so then people benefit. So people benefit. Does that make sense? On that note, I'm going to say to you all, this has been amazing. I absolutely enjoyed this one. Right? Wolf to you, Shannon. If you've been a part of my classes, you know all about the wolf. Doden, hey, how you doing? Thanks as usual to everybody. Jennifer, how you doing? Grab that link that I threw out there. Again, if I got the knowledge, man, I have no problem freely sharing it with any of you all. So please, have an amazing, superb week. I didn't see any questions. Let me double check to see if I see any questions. I'm going to give it a minute or two and just double check that I see any questions, and I'll answer them really quick if I see any. The only question that I see is what is the real life difference between the Agile Marketing Manifesto and Manifesto for Agile Software Development? Jamila, there are different fields of expertise that exist, or different industries that exist. And what happened when the Agile Manifesto was created, it was created by people who were mostly involved in IT and software. That's where they were mostly involved. So most of the things you see in the normal Agile Manifesto, or the Manifesto for Agile Software Development, are purely related to software development or IT related activities. And so what happened is people started learning that these IT or these software people are doing some good stuff. They started creating their own versions of an Agile Manifesto, but specific to their industry, like an Agile Manifesto related to education, or an Agile Manifesto related to marketing. And they utilize that as their guideline. Now, is it ever going to be as popular as the Manifesto for Agile Software Development? Probably not. But that's where it comes from. So hopefully that historical piece helps you out. But that's what happens in a lot of cases. So you want to make sure you do that. Let's see. Everybody's good. Nice big guy. My company, we use objective key results. So that's it, y'all. I think I've answered all the questions. I think we're good to go. So I'm gonna say to you all, thank you all for coming tonight. Absolutely enjoyed it. I'm gonna try to, I don't know what the topic is gonna be next week, but I'm gonna make sure that I communicate a topic for y'all early this week. So if you're on the emails, you'll see it. Other than that, I'm gonna say, look, have a wonderful evening. I've had nothing but pleasure tonight. Enjoy. I will see you on an Agile journey sometime soon, people. Peace. See you next time.